Hi, good evening, everybody. This is our second installment of the Maharal Ner Mitzvah, coming to you from me, Yochanan Bechhofer, direct descendant of the Maharal. Um, if you want to follow along, so in the description bar for this video is a link from Hebrew books that will open up the exact page that we're doing tonight, Bezrat Hashem. And also, you're going to see it on the screen right now. I was told from people who viewed yesterday's that this is not a link, but can you at least copy it and then put it in your browser, and then you'll get the page to follow along, okay, without further ado. We started the second page of the Ner Mitzvah, which is Daf Chet in the standard edition, the standard old edition that most people have. What we were learning was that, opened up with Daniel's vision of he saw from the four winds of the world, they stirred up the water, the great sea, and out came out four animals, which represent the four evil empires. So number four, right? Four winds, four empires, and they're alluded to, the four evil empires are alluded to already in the four forms of deficiency that the world had immediately upon emergence: Tov, Vo, Choshech, and Tehom. And the main point that we got to yesterday is that, it's not a coincidence that there are four evil empires parallel to the four forms of deficiency that there are in the world, because the world is deficient because, it's not as great as its creator. It's not even perfect by its own standards, let alone on par with the perfection of its creator. So the universe is imperfect because it is what it is, not because God did anything wrong. It is what it is, and it's not perfect like its creator. It's not even perfect by its own standards because it has room for improvement. So because the universe, by virtue of just being what it is, right, has four types of deficiency. Now, what's deficiency and what's called optimization? So what we learned yesterday was deficiency is any lack of Hashem's revelation, because Hashem's revelation is what creates the world and what optimizes the world, right? And the more Hashem is revealed, the more the Bria is energized and optimized, because what is existence if not the revelation of God's glory? As it says, whatever HaKadosh created, he only created for his own glory. So as a creation is a revelation of his glory. So ergo, any shortcoming is a lack of the glory of Hashem revealed. Right, so that's where the deficiency comes, that there's more glory of Hashem to be revealed to at least make the Bria, the creation, perfect by its own standards, right? So, and that's what these four evil empires capitalize on. There's a certain amount of void, of lack of God's glory revealed, and that's what they're all about, stealing the world for their own glory, to rip the world away from Hashem's glory. So it's befitting for the whole world to be under Hashem's singular reign, like it will be in the future. And by no coincidence, it will be under Hashem's singular reign. And his glory will be fully revealed. The world will be a perfect world, as we hope speedily in our days. The perfect world of when Hashem is king over the whole world. And those two are not two disjointed ideas. They're actually one and the same. Hashem's revealed majesty and revealed glory is the power behind creation. So the more he's revealed, the more creation is associated with him, the more the creation is perfect. Right? So since there's a certain natural separation between the creation and its creator at this point in time, they take advantage of that. So there's four types of deficiency, which means four types of lack of quote Shemayim. And so connected that each a evil empire arose, as it were, to take full advantage of that particular deficiency. Right? That is a quick synopsis of what we did yesterday. So we had just flipped the page, and we're a few lines into the first column on page Chet, which will turn up on that link that I sent out, that you'll see displayed on the screen. So, So, but we'll take it from the top of the page. Everything that Hashem created, He created for His own glory. All that is called by my name, which by the way refers to Olam Hatzilus. For my glory, I created Olam Habriya. I fashioned Yatzartiv. I fashioned Olam HaYitzira. Vavasitiv Olam HaAsiya. All the universes are of Olam Hazeh. Were all created by for Hashem's glory. Just the top one is called, His name, and the other three lower ones are called His glory per se. Since God created all, He created everything for His glory. Right? Now, the fact that He created the world for His glory is simple. Right? If someone's the creator of something, his creation ought not to turn against Him. He made it. Right? It's dependent upon Him, so I should turn against Him. Right? Because to something to be against its creator, for something to be against itself, right? Because you're cutting off the branch that you're sitting on, you're cutting off your life source. And so, of course, a product should not be anti the cause that makes it. It's like being against itself. But those ain't no cloud. And this is absurd, right? Everything was created for Hashem's glory. But if everything was created for Hashem's glory, then where do these four evil empires that are rebel against Hashem's glory, where do they come from? If everything was created for His glory. Right? Right? So it comes because there's a certain deficiency in creation, that Hashem's glory is not fully revealed, and it's not any shortcoming in God. The God didn't like we said this extensively yesterday. God didn't punch holes in the creation that He made. This is how it emerged. It emerged, imperfect, right? It emerged needing improvement. Right? But it is what it is. It's not that Hashem did anything cruel against the Bria. This is how it emerged. And to be is better than not to be. So Hashem, it was an act of kindness to create the world. He just didn't do more kindness. That's what He says. It's Enomi plus Paul. The lack of the Bria is not from any doing of God. It's this, all that He did, which is the Bria as is kindness. Say He didn't do more, right? He didn't do more. Right, so it's it's not an action. He didn't do an act of ruining the Bria. He just didn't do the act of creating it even more perfect, because He left that up to us, right? But since the Bria, right, the creation has a certain natural imperfection. And what is that natural imperfection? A certain lack of full revelation of God's glory. With the full revelation, the Bria will be perfect and be fully optimized, like it'll be in the future. So with his kingdom and His glory slightly concealed, right, and not fully revealed as much as it could be, right? So that's what gives them room. They take advantage of that void, to set up their anti-God empires. They set up in that void, right? So the Kachamaz should have Mal Dalit. Right, so now you get into the number 4. There are 4 deficiencies in the world: Tovo, Choshech, and Tahom. Right, and also Daniel in his vision. It all starts with the 4 winds: north, west, southeast, all blowing. 4. What does the number 4 represent? Right, all right. Right, because these evil empires, they seek to depart from God's glory. Right, God is one. Right, now, what represents oneness in space as we know it? Right, the center. As we're taught in geometry, there's infinite points on a plane, but only one center. Yeah. Infinite points on a plane, but only one center. Right? It's true. Right? So so you got infinite points on play, but only one center. And do I have to explain that? There can't be two centers because the center is exactly a point that's neither to right, neither left, neither up, neither down. All right. If there were two, then one would be to the right and one would be to the left, or one would be up, one would be down, and which means it's slightly up, so it's not exactly in the center. And that's why the center is only one, and what we'd call by our standards infinitesimally small. It's only one, right? So now, therefore, Am Yisrael, the one nation. So because we're related to the one God. So now we live in Yerushalayim, Eretz Yisrael, which is called the center of the globe, and in the center of Yerushalayim, of Eretz Yisrael is Yerushalayim, and in the center is the Beis HaMikdash. These are all the godly places because they are all representations of God's kingdom. He is one, so Keneged is oneness. We should have Yisrael that's Goy Echad Ba'aretz, and it should be in the center of the globe. There's only one center. That's where the oneness is. Only one center. All right. Can I get the one and only real king? And also, so whatever's like related to him, which is Am Yisrael, Eretz Yisrael, Yerushalayim, the Beit HaMikdash, it's all in the center. Right? Right? Right. The center is what's associated with the oneness, because there's only one center. Infinite points of plane, but only one center, and that's why the center is special for Am Yisrael. Am Yisrael, the one nation. So we live in the center. Our natural is Eretz Yisrael, which is the center of the globe, and of course, our holiest city is Yerushalayim, which is the center of Eretz Yisrael, and holiest place Yerushalayim is the Beit, which is in the center of Yerushalayim. Few shreds of cloud. So to sum it up, davar shu echad, something that's one. There's only one Hashem. There's only one Torah. There's only one Jewish people. So something which is only one, the place that corresponds to that oneness is the center. But the departure from center on a flat surface, right? The departure from center is in four major directions. Go north of center. Go south of center. Go east of center. Go west of center. Any other direction will just be a combination, like northeast, southwest. There are four major vectors, four major directions that are not included in each other, four major directions, and any other direction is just included in one of those, it's a permutation of one of those four. So there are four major original points of departure from the center. Right? Just like the four directions, there are four ways to depart from the center. Go north of center, go south of center, go west of center, go east of center, and any other direction will be like combining either the north and the west, the north and the east, the south and the west, or the south and the east. Right? So there are these evil empires that rebel against the center. There are four of them, parallel to the four directions that depart from the center. Right, so now also going back now also to Tov, Avo, Choshech, Adom, that they are parallel to the four evil empires. All talk about the shortcomings that the world has. It's an imperfect world. Matter is imperfect. Because of the lacking that there is in creation. That's what gave the room that gave the void, the space for these four evil empires to, come in, come to be. And they all have one common denominator. They're in four different directions. One common denominator, that their reign is they reign in a manner to deviate from Hashem's reign. They don't annul themselves to Hashem. They want to take the world away from Hashem and with them ruling over it instead. And it's called that these nations, they annul the message of God being the king over the whole world. So Rome says, no, we're the ones who control the globe. And Babel said, no, we're the ones that control the globe. Yovan said, no, we're the ones that control the globe. Paras and Madai said, no, we're the ones that control the globe. Right? One combinator, not Hashem. Right? They are there to deviate, each one in his own direction, just steal the malchus, steal the kingdom from Hashem. Right? Now, what happens when we get rid of these four evil empires finally at the end of time? So what does it say in Zechariah? Hashem will be king over the whole earth. By Yom and on that day when he's king over the earth, Hashem Echad will be one and his name will one. Right? That with Hashem's full revelation of being king over the earth, we see his one stays the one singular real ruler. Right? One singular real power. But as long as these four evil empires have any turf, any reign in the world, Hashem's glory, his glorious majesty is not revealed in this world. So it's called that these four evil empires are a manifestation. They, as it were, they take advantage and take up space in the void, of the shortcomings that there are in creation. Right? Because the world as God created it, is not in total perfection. The world has shortcomings. Now, the shortcomings is not called an act of God that he has, where he damaged the world. He didn't damage the world, right? And right? It's all, the shortcomings because the world is just, by its own nature, not perfect like its creator. God didn't do anything against it. Whatever God gave is better than to not be. So whatever God gave is a kindness. He just didn't give more. So it's not called that he did anything against the world. He just didn't give more. It's enomi plus bo. It's not an act of God, an action that made it imperfect. It just is what it is, right? But since it being what it is not perfectly perfect, that is what gives room for these evil empires to arise. Right? So now to actually allude to everything that we just said, the pasuk writes, Hashem created heaven and earth. Now the earth, lower earth, the earth, not God. The earth that emerged is, the earth being what it is, has tov, choshech, and tahom, has these four types of shortcomings, which allow for the arising of four evil empires. And it's, again, the emphasis on the earth. It's only the earth that has this imperfection of which we speak, the physical realm. That's the oretz, after the oretz, right? Heaven where the angels are is perfect, and God's kingdom is unchallenged in heaven, right? It's only on earth that his kingdom is challenged, because earth, the oretz is tov, choshech, and dom, right? The earth has these shortcomings in it. Now, these are all shortcomings in one particular thing, the earth. So the earth, the earth, one thing, has these four shortcomings, which allows for these four deviations from point center. Right? So now, because the world is an imperfect place, it gave rise to these four evil empires. How do these four evil empires, steal the world from Hashem? By stealing it from the Jewish people. Because everything that Hashem created for his glory. Right? Which nation did he create for his glory? The Jewish people. As the Paul says, Amzu Yatzarti, this nation I created for myself. Tilos, they speak my praises. We glorify God's name in the world. That's why we're called the one nation. That's connected with the one God. We are the one, and when Am Yisrael reigns, it's called that Hashem reigns, right? The Malchus of Melech HaMashiach is also called Vayashem LeMelech HaKol Haaretz. We're that one nation, that one nation that is the glory of God. And when we reign, the glory of God reigns. And they steal the they oppress us and they steal Eretz Yisrael from us, and that's their way and method of stealing the world from God. So now these four evil empires that steal the Malchus, the kingdom, from the Jewish people, they know God's glory in this lower world. Now, even though they don't totally do everything wrong, sometimes they do good, these nations. As the good, he's what he obviously has in mind is famous Gemara and Avodah Zarah. Then in the future, the Goyim are actually going to have the audacity to ask God to pay them for the roads that they built and the bridges that they built and the markets that they set up. We built up the world. We want to be paid for it, right? So even though some constructive activity comes from them, right? Let's say technology. Low milk, so low dusham. We don't want their honey and we don't want their sting. I said it backwards to get to the point. We, don't do us any favors. Would have been better if these nations never arose and the Malchus over the whole world would have just been Malchus Yisrael. It would have just been the Jewish Empire. We would have had all the road paving and all the technological advancement and all the refinement that they want to take credit for. We would have had it just fine if they would have left us in charge. We would have had all that and more, and particularly more, as we would have had godliness revealed in the world, which would have been the true optimization of the world. Right? And we'll discuss that later. God doesn't want neither their honey nor their sting. Right? Doesn't want their sting, so save me your honey also. What you call your contributions. As Gemara says in Avodah Zarah, Hashem is not going to reward them for anything, because he's going to say, even though what you admittedly did right, you just did it for yourself. You didn't do it for me. You really didn't do it for Klal. You did it for yourself. The Garmayo of it. Right? Right? Because like we said before, what optimizes the world? Hashem being revealed, his glory and his kingdom being revealed. And there's only one nation that's a vehicle for that, the Jewish people. Right? You say you wanted to make the world a better place. You should have left the Jewish people in charge. You should have not destroyed the Beis HaMikdash. That's what would have made me more revealed in the world. And the world would have truly, truly been a better place. Right, digital watches, didn't make the world a better place, essentially. Right, will make the world really, truly optimized if we've left the Jewish people in charge, because they're the vehicle for my kingdom and my revelation. Because and you being in charge just obscured and hid, right, and shadowed over, right, Hashem's glory and Hashem's majesty. Right, because the other nations weren't created. Lo nivru, they weren't created as vehicles to bring out God's kingdom road. Rak Yisrael, just Am Yisrael, was created to be the vehicle of Kvod Shemaim and Malchus Shemaim. Shem Am Echad, because by no cause we're also called Am Echad. Mikam Koiso Goicha Baretz. Right? Kamoshor is the cause of Am Zu Yatzad Yossi Yisrael. This nation, Am Zu, this nation, not just this one nation, but that fastly will speak my glory. Zu, this nation, Mispro Gimel Zu, Zion Vav, 7 plus 6 is 13. Whisper Echad. It's Gematria Echad. Echad. Zu, Am Echad. Right? We are that one nation that is a reflection of the oneness of God. Right? That's why by no coincidence, Am Yisrael's 13 Shvatim. Also Gematria Echad. In Shevet Levi, that's of course if you count all the Shvatim A. First we count Levi, even though they are kind of aloof, for lack of a better word, but kind of removed because they have Kohanim Vim. You count Shevet Levi, Gematria Shtayim Hem, Kvoshi Milas Echad, right? Right. So now because Shevet Yosef subdivided to Menashe and Ephraim, so you count Levi and Menashe and Ephraim. Count them all. They are Gematria Echad, but now he's going to break it down in a very cute way to show how it's reflected in the very word Echad. And you'll understand why I mentioned Shevet Levi in particular. Now look at the structure of the word Echad. Aleph, 1, Ches, 8, Dalet, 4. 1, 8, 4. Keno yu Ashvatim. So now also it's reflective of the 13 tribes of Israel, Gematria Echad. Right? Shevet Levi, Shevet Miyuchad, Vidom Mishar Shvatim. Shevet Levi is, like we said before, it is a special tribe that's a little bit separate. It's very special and separate above the other tribes. Vu b'fnei atzmo, and it stands alone because they have Kohanim and Leviim. Right? Everyone else are Yisraelim. Right? So Shevet Levi has Kohanim and Leviim. So it stands alone in a category. Oh, Kneged Aleph Shebechad, Shia Aleph. Right, and they are singular. They're unique, so they're one of a kind. Shevet Levi relative to the other 12, so that they are parallel to the letter Aleph of Echad. That one special tribe, Shevet Levi, that has Kohanim and Leviim. So that's the Aleph of Echad. V'ches keneged bnei Imo shem ches zulas Levi. So now the children of the Imahos of Rachel and Leah are a total of eight, right? So how 8? Well, Leah had 6 kids, right? But you take out Levi, right? Is that correct? Right, you take out Levi, right? Because we say he's connected the Aleph. So it gets knocked down to 7. But Rachel had Yosef and Binyamin, and we say Yosef subdivides into 2. So it's Menashe, Ephraim, Binyamin, 3 plus 5. 3 plus 5, 8. That's the Ches, the 8 children of the Imahos. Zuas Levi, of course, that's right. So we, of course, took Levi out of the count to make him the Aleph of Echad. So it's the 5 remaining kids of Leah. And we say Yosef is really 2. He's Menashe and Ephraim. So it's like Rachel had 3 tribes. So 5 plus 3, the 8. That's the Ches of Echad, right? So Nero's Chesav, and there's the 4 tribes that came from Bilhah and Zilpah, right? God, what's the name? Sorry, it's late at night, but it evades me. It was the 4 tribes that came from Bilhah and Zilpah, right? All right. Lefikach, and therefore, Amar Amzu, Shem Kemispar Echad, tell us about this nation, which is Gematria Echad, right? They speak my praises, and it's like even Nirmaz in the structured word Echad, the Aleph, Levi, the Ches are the remaining children of Rachel and Leah, of which you take out Levi, but Yosef is to be counted as 2, Menashe and Ephraim. And then there are 4, the 2 children of Bilhah and Zilpah, which are those 4 are Merumas in the 4 of the Daud of Echad. They speak Ikar Tilos, they speak my main praise in the world. I am revealed through them. So God is one and there is none other. Right, and we were created for that purpose. That's Amzu. I created this one nation to be a reflection of my oneness. Am Yisrael was created. We were made for this, right? Right, and we were made to testify on, to God's oneness. Is Medrash, like the Medrash says in Dvarim Rabbah, Yisrael made him Hashem Yisborach Shu Echad. Am Yisrael attest to God's unity. Right, and he said, right now I'm not going to break down that medrash over there, but it's before Am Yisrael testifies. That's also willing to die rather than deny God being the one and singular power. That's what we're created for. But these 4 evil empires, they come to annul the message of God's being the one and only in the world. And they do that by taking the reign away from Kaiso, the one nation. We are the one nation that attests to God's unity. And therefore, at the end of time, when finally we defeat all these 4 evil empires, and at that time, by no coincidence, Malchus, kingdom, goes back to Am Yisrael, Ksiv. So what does the post say? Right, the saviors come up to the Mount Zion, right, to mete out judgment against the mountain of Esau, Edom. And Hashem will be king over the world, right? And that's what it says. So when we destroy them, and we are king, that's also called Hashem's king. And now we already flipped the page. But we'll start from here again tomorrow. So then there's the pasuk in Zechariah. We quote for Hashem Melech Kol Haaretz and Hashem Echad U'Shmo Echad. Right, and then Hashem will be king on the whole world, and on that he'll be one, and his name will be one. When Am Yisrael is king, Hashem is king, and when he's king, the message of his being the one and only comes out. His kingdom is the way he reveals his oneness, that he's the one and only true power. Like we said, so now the evil empires are four, which depart from point center, depart from the oneness. The four is the number of departure from unity. Can't tell you because the middle, which, like we said, is on no side. There can only be one point like that that's on no side. Any other point would be either to the right of that point, to the left of that point. It would be called that's on a side. Only the center is on no side. The center stands alone. There are no two middles. Right, just the middle is one alone. So there are four that deviate from point center, as in north, west, south, east, right? And then the Maharal adds one extra point, right? And so now there are 4 points of departure from the center, and that's what the Tohu Vo and Choshech allude to. So where's the illusion of the center that they departed from? In the very first word, get it? One God, and we are the nation of oneness, and we are alluded to in the very first word, Bereshis. As everyone knows, the Rashi over there, right? Bishul Yisosh Nikra Rashis. God created the world for Am Yisrael. It's called the first. Right? It's another idea that in what center is in space is what first is in time. Right? If time and space are parallel ideas, what the center is in space, there's only one center. There's also only one first. No two firsts. Only one first. The first is Am Yisrael. So Bereshis, we're the reason we are point center for both heaven and earth. And and then the earth had these four deficiencies, and four deficiencies which allowed for the four departures from center. Right? All right. Beautiful stuff. Okay, we'll stop here. We'll see if Be'ezer Hashem will give koach to continue either tomorrow or at least very soon. And Be'ezer Hashem with the optimistic goal of finishing either by Chanukah or during Chanukah. Have a good night, everybody. All right.